What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I am back with another video. This time once again, we're going to look at one of the best point guards of the 21st century, that being Russell Westbrook. And as you guys know, Westbrook is a controversial as well as highly polarizing player, and when it comes to the playoffs, his track record is spotty at best. So with that being the case, in today's video, I want to do a deep dive on just how bad playoff Westbrook is, and to do that, we're going to look at his playoff resume since the 2016 Western Conference Finals. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Now, like I said in the intro for this video, we're going to look at playoff Westbrook since 2016. And what I really want to do in this video is look at his fourth quarter scoring numbers as well as clutch time play. And however his career, he gets worse the later it goes in this series. So with that being said, let's go to the 2016 Western Conference Finals, OKC versus Golden State. In the first 4 games of the series, Golden State was absolutely getting dominated, and OKC had a 3-1 lead, winning games 3 and 4 by 28 and 24 points. But over the next 3 games, the series would take drastic shifts, with OKC blowing numerous leads and numerous opportunities to close out the Warriors. And when it was all said and done, they lost to Game 7 in Golden State. So blowing 3-1 leads on the verge of making the finals, that's obviously terrible and a bad thing for your team as well as your superstar point guard. But what I want to look at is how Westbrook in that series got worse. Looking at his numbers in the first 4 games on your left compared to the last 3 on your right, you can see Westbrook had a big time dip in play when it comes to overall efficiency. His shooting splits in the first 4 games were 42% from the field, 36 from 3, and 87 from the line. In the last 3 games, it was 37 from the field, 26 from 3, and 74% from the free throw line. Also, you have to note, he averaged 5.0 turnovers in his last 3 games, which is the most for the series. And when it comes to Game 6 and Game 7, Westbrook in those fourth quarters combined for 13 points on 4 of 11 shooting with 4 turnovers. And in Game 6, he was absolutely awful down the stretch.
2012, Westbrook stumbling, lost it. Again, it is Iguodala. Thompson fires for 3, yes! Up on a minute remaining. Curry with the drive. Westbrook had it knocked off his foot. Thompson. Rebound Durant. And he was caught. 5-point lead for Golden State. Oh, Curry on the intercept.
Now that play right there in the fourth quarter is absolutely inexcusable. And looking at Westbrook's fourth quarter stats, as well as his clutch time stats, they're also pretty damning. In the fourth quarter, he averaged 6.5 points per game on 40% shooting from the field and 33% from the line, with a plus-minus of negative 0.7. When it comes to clutch time scoring, last 5 minutes a game within 5 points, he averaged 1.3 points per game on 0% shooting from the field as well as 3, and his plus-minus was an astounding negative 3.3. And to add some context to those numbers, Steph Curry in that same series, when it came to fourth quarter scoring, averaged 7 points per game on 48% shooting from the field, 39% from 3, and 100% from the line. Undoubtedly, outplaying Westbrook in the most crucial moments. Now looking at Westbrook's next playoff series, we skip to the 2017 first round versus the Houston Rockets. In this series, Westbrook was basically the Lone Ranger and the only above average player on the Thunder's roster. And for the series, he averaged 37 points per game, 11.6 boards, 10.8 assists on 39, 26, and 80 splits. And you could argue the series is the best of his career post Kevin Durant. Now looking at the raw stat numbers, they're definitely gaudy and pretty impressive. But once again, I want to look past those numbers and look at how he played in the big time moments. And on your screen, you can see Westbrook's stats game by game when it came to fourth quarter scoring. Not once in the series did he shoot over 50% from the field when it came to the fourth quarters. And his worst moments in the clutch came in games 2, 4, and 5. In game 2, he was 4 for 18 from the field in a 4-point loss. Game 5, he was 5 for 11, but in the final minute and 30, had 3 crucial turnovers in a game OKC only lost by 4. and in Game 5, he was simply atrocious, shooting 2 for 11 from the field. So looking at Westbrook in the fourth quarter, the big time moments, he definitely came up short in this series. And when looking at his fourth quarter and clutch time scoring, once again fourth quarters on the left and clutches on the right, in both those categories, he shot under 30% from the field and under 20% from 3. When it comes to playoff Westbrook, in the big time moments, his efficiency simply falls off a cliff. Now skipping ahead, we go to 2018. And this time in the first round, the Thunder will play the Utah Jazz, who they were favored over. And once again, Westbrook in this series, his overall stats are pretty impressive, averaging 29 points per game, 12 boards, 8 assists, on 40, 36, and 83 splits with 5.2 turnovers. But the common thread is that Westbrook, once again in the big time moments, does not show up. Looking at his fourth quarter scoring, he averaged 6.2 points per game on 36% shooting and 27% from 3. Clutch time scoring, he averaged 3 points on 27% shooting from the field and 25 from 3. And when it comes to both those categories, he was outplayed by rookie Donovan Mitchell. And looking at Mitchell's fourth quarter stats, he averaged 8.3 points per game on 44, 31, and 80 splits. Once again, a rookie outplayed Westbrook in crucial moments of this series. And if you go game by game, it looks even worse. As once again, Westbrook for this series rarely, if ever, shot above 50% when it came to the fourth quarters. And looking for the pinnacle of playoff Westbrook, let's go to Game 6 in Utah. In this game, Westbrook once again had gaudy stats, putting up 46 points, 10 boards, 5 assists on 43 shot attempts. Looking alone off the stat sheet, you would say Westbrook had a very impressive, if not even dominant game. But once again, looking to the big time moments, the last 2 to 3 minutes, he simply faltered under the pressure and didn't show up big when OKC needed him to.
Time and stop him. The key is you keep getting mismatches. That's the key. Step back over Ingles, and he will face free agency questions when this series is over. Westbrook short. A deep three,
too far,
late
too
into
far.
R. Westbrook drives, missed the layup.
Time. Plenty of time here.
Westbrook.
Now once again moving on, we have another first round series, this time versus the Portland Trailblazers. Now for this series, Westbrook, his stats, they aren't as impressive, averaging 23 points per game, 10 points to assist, 8.8 boards on 36, 32, and 86 splits, with once again a pretty high turnover mark with 4.6 per game. And at this point, Westbrook had Paul George, a fellow All-Star, Dennis Schroeder, Steven Adams, Jeremy Grant, as well as Nerlens Noel. The supporting cast for this team is definitely enough to win a first-round series versus the Portland Trailblazers. But once again, in large part due to Westbrook not being great in the fourth quarters, this team would lose to Portland in 5 games. And looking at Westbrook's fourth quarter numbers, going game by game, through the first 3 games, he actually played pretty decent, putting up 12 points, 3 points, as well as 14 points. But once again, looking at the 2 most crucial games, that being Game 4 and 5, he laid eggs in both those games, only having 1 point in Game 4, and in Game 5, having 8 points on 2 of 7 shooting with 3 crucial turnovers. And once again, the game film simply does not lie.
Rebound to run that one down. Approaching the 2-minute mark.
2 minutes in the game.
Both teams in the penalty. Westbrook all the way in. Wild shot.
A shot here this game.
Westbrook takes on Aminu. Westbrook. No. And it's Aminu. Lillard, long-range 3.
Now that Game 5 in Portland was the last game for Westbrook in a Thunder uniform, as the following year, he would be traded to Houston. And when it comes to playoffs, once again, he definitely underperformed after a pretty stellar regular season. Looking at the first round, I won't hold this against him, as he only played 3 games and was battling injuries. In that series, he averaged 14.7 points per game on 41, 16, and 50 splits. Once again for that series, I don't hold it against him, as he was battling through injuries. In the second round versus LA, he upped his game, averaging 19.8 points per game on 42, 26, and 54 splits with 4.2 turnovers. And looking at his fourth quarter numbers, they're actually pretty impressive as well as decent, as he averaged 6.6 points per game on 42% shooting and 36% from 3. The one thing you won't find in the series was great clutch time play. Now to add some context, after Game 1, which the Rockets did win, Games 2 through 5 were all blowouts in the fourth quarter. LA won by 8, 10, 10, and 23 points, and most of those games weren't even close going into the fourth quarter. Now after that series versus LA, Westbrook once again be traded, this time to the Washington Wizards. And with his time in Washington, they were lowly seeded in the Eastern Conference, playing Philadelphia in the first round. And for this series, Westbrook averaged 19 points per game on 33, 25, and 79 splits with 4.2 turnovers. And for the most part, this series wasn't competitive, the only close games being Game 1 as well as Game 4. And even with that being said, Westbrook once again, when it came to fourth quarter play, was simply atrocious. His highest scoring game being Game 4, where he had 5 points on 0 of 5 shooting, and in total averaged 2.6 points per game on 15.4% from the field. And in Game 1 of that series, he had a very costly turnover in a game the Wizards very easily could have won. And looking past that crucial turnover, here's Westbrook's teammates and their fourth quarter scoring. Rui Hachimura averaged 4.0 on 58% shooting, Bradley Beal averaged 3.6 on 23% shooting, and Daniel Gafford averaged 3.2 on 100% shooting. Westbrook for Washington was their fourth leading scorer in fourth quarter points per game on the worst shooting percentage out of the entire series. And for comparison, Ben Simmons, yes, Ben Simmons averaged more points per game than Westbrook when it came to the fourth quarters. So that right there for Westbrook is a 6-year summary of his playoff odyssey. And stats-wise, Westbrook during that time period averaged 25.1 points per game, 9.1 assists, 9.2 boards, 4.6 turnovers on 39, 30, and 78 splits. Once again, the raw stat numbers are definitely pretty impressive, with the efficiency being pretty bad. And speaking of shooting and efficiency, Westbrook during this time period had 4 playoff series averaging above 20 points per game. That's from 2016 to 2021. During that same time period, for the entire NBA, there were 123 series where a player averaged above 20 points per game. When you rank all those series by field goal percentage, here's Westbrook's ranks: 122nd, 115th, 112th, and 102nd. And looking at turnovers for the exact same criteria, there were 63 times a player averaged above 4 per game. Westbrook was responsible for 4 of those times, and his ranks go 62nd, 58th, 55th, and 52nd. Once again, in the bottom 10% for that category. So that right there is the overall summary of playoff Westbrook and how bad he's been since the 2016 Western Conference Finals. Once again, Westbrook is an all-time great point guard, but he's a highly flawed player, specifically in the fourth quarter, as well as the clutch time moments. So I hope this video informed you guys, and you have a better understanding of how bad playoff Westbrook really is. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.